Good afternoon, Happy New Year. I look at a new year as it's like a start. It's like a new chapter in my life, a new year. And for those who've been following my videos, I've never really planned the videos. I've just been kind of talking about stuff that I know and what I can share. But this one, I've actually had a bit of careful thought about it. And what I wanted to share was something that might help some people that have just found out they've got cancer, or perhaps have just had it a short while, and perhaps share some of my experiences that I had, and to maybe not make the same mistakes as the ones I made. So I wrote a list. I'll read it out and I'll explain each one. Okay, so basically it's like 10 things that you should or should not do when you've found out you've got cancer, for the first until you settle down. Okay, number one on the list, I put, don't immediately think your life's over. Okay, I was diagnosed 15 months ago. I think when I found out I had cancer, my world collapsed at that moment, and all I could think about in my mind was dying. There's no doubt about that. That's all I could think about was, how much time have I got? I'm gonna die. Okay, there is so much good stuff going on now in the medical world. Plus in the world that I'm trying to go down, in looking at other ways of dealing with it. There's so much stuff out there that people now are surviving much better and much longer than they would have done a few years ago. Okay, so there's lots of, you shouldn't, if you've just found out, please don't immediately just think about how long you've got left. Now, number 2 on my list is, don't ask, because this is the mistake I made. And this mistake I made is scaring me now, because when I found out, I found out a very strange way. If you've been watching my videos, you might have heard me say this. I found out that I had cancer as I was being wheeled in the cancer ward. At that point, I had no idea. I knew something was wrong, but I didn't know. So I'd been in the cancer ward for a few weeks, and finally, when I was released, I didn't really know what was going on. But the thing on my mind was, and I suppose this is perfectly normal, was how long have I got? So I asked my oncologist, and she, first of all, she said, we can't tell you. And then she did. The second, I only asked her twice, and she gave in the second time, which makes me think, yeah, who knows anyway. So don't do it. Don't ask how long you got, because you're gonna live to that time. Now, I was told I've got a minimum of 2 years, a maximum of 5. Now, in some ways, I was quite happy about that. But now I'm thinking, hang on a minute, that was 15 months ago. That means that a minimum of 2 years is not long. And now I wish I didn't know. I think it's unfair to know it, and I think it's unfair to ask it. And the other thing is, it's nobody knows. Nobody really knows. But once someone tells you that, like a professional that tells you a minimum of 2 years and a maximum of 5, that's your expectations, and that's what you will start living towards. Okay, so when September comes up, that will be my 2 years. Now I'm on that decline in my mind. I've had to really try to tell myself that that was nonsense. I'm not accepting it, and I'm gonna live as long as I can, and however long it is. I don't want to know. I don't want to know, and you shouldn't want to know, because it's scary. If they tell you something, you start believing it, and you will create the conditions that make it so. And that's how the mind-body works. Without that knowledge, I think you've got more chance of living longer. I really do. So, for your own sanity, peace of mind, what other words can I use, really? Because it really is a mental health thing. If you start knowing and you start thinking, oh my God, I've only got so much, you just can't go down that path. Don't do it. Okay? So number 3 on my list. Okay, so you've just got diagnosed. Try not to go searching Dr. Google too much, because there's a lot of good stuff out there. But when you're in a state of mind that you will be, that you are in, then you search things and you don't read things clearly, and you don't see, and this is my experience, you just don't see any positivity. And this creates that cycle of the mind-body. You got a negative mind, your body becomes negative. And the best advice is to leave Google alone for a while. Okay, I'm going in a minute to tell you somewhere where you can look. But sometimes Google is terrifying, and any symptom of anything always comes down to cancer, no matter what you have. So be careful. Try not to do too much exploration on Google. Because again, when I did it, I just got myself depressed, anxious, worried, scared. Okay, and that did not help the situation. So that's my advice. Number 4 is ask questions. And I'm in the UK. I listen to people that are from the States quite a lot, and how all of their medical stuff is controlled through insurance. Over here we have an NHS, and the National Health Service, which basically you're given, you're told this is what we're going to do. And sometimes I feel there is times where you can ask questions that you don't feel like you should. I implore you to ask questions. Don't be scared. If you're in the States, you ask questions about, you literally interview different people through different insurances, I think, to find out who's got the best plan, which I think is amazing. However, I'd find that extremely difficult to go around different people and ask them what plan they've got for me. So with the NHS here, we kind of get what we're given, and but still, don't be afraid to ask questions. Okay, if you think something's not right for you and doesn't feel right, make sure you pick that phone up. Okay. There are various things like Macmillan who in the UK are there to give you assistance and guidance. You can use them. I didn't particularly find them great, I've got to say this. Okay, I think it's down to the individual person, the nurse, on how they are. But the one that was, or the ones that I dealt with, were very unavailable. I'm only going to say that. And if anyone's been through that experience, then you'll know what I mean. Number 5, really, really important, this one, is surround yourself with positive people. Okay, keep a circle of positive people in your life. It's really, really important, because the more positivity that you have in your life, the more people that you deal with that are positive, the more positive you become. and the better off you are from being positive. There's no doubt about that. If you are surrounded by people that are positive, I'm not saying that people are just looking at you with rose-tinted spectacles, that kind of thing. You know, it's about having true people that are positive for you and with you. You know, they're there when you need a shoulder to cry on. Those sort of people. Surround yourself with people like that, people that you can talk to. Okay. Now I put this as number. I'll put this on the next one. I'll put number 6. And this is something you've got to be really careful about, because this is something that I almost went down this path. Now, just be aware on social media of people trying to sell you stuff that will cure you. Okay. There are a lot of forums on social media that are frequently ambushed by people trying to sell stuff, whether it's marijuana, whether it's whatever it is. Okay, I would say be very, very careful, because I've heard of people that have given money to these people and they're gone. They you know, I mean, someone that's got cancer, for goodness sake, that someone's willing to take their last money, their last pennies away. There's people out there. Okay, there are people out there selling snake oil. There are people out there that will sell you stuff, and they'll make up false references of people that have used it. No doubt some stuff is real, but I think there's a lot of it out there. There's a lot of people in the world that are quite happy to make a buck off of people who are frightened and scared, because at the end of the day, listen, this is your life. It's your life, and you think, well, someone's just told me I can take this magic tablet. I've spent quite a lot of money on stuff, mainly just tablets and things and subsidiaries. You know, I still take the medication. I don't know whether it works or not. I think the power of belief works better than everything. The placebo pills probably work better than anything in these cases. But when someone is after vast amounts of money for something that's not very expensive, then I think you've got to be very careful. And I just, how people can be so low to do that, I don't know. Now, beware of them, because they kind of populate forums, and they're on there for a little while, and then they go on another forum, Facebook forums, internet forums, where they're very appealing, because they're telling you that you will survive if you take this and do this. Okay, I'll just say to be very careful that if you start going down that route, you're going to get your hopes up to a point where you probably isn't going to work. It might do, but more often than not, be very careful. That's all I'm saying. Don't make the mistakes that other people have made. I think the only way you could seriously consider is if you actually know somebody that's taken these so-called silver bullets that work. If you know somebody that's personally done it, then yeah, by all means. But other than that, I'd be very careful. There's a lot of them, and I was getting. I have a blog, and people were messaging me on my blog, trying to sell me stuff all the time, and private messaging me, and they're like desperate to sell something. You know that they're not real. Number 7. Something that you can use the internet for that is really amazing. Okay, is look for stories of people that have survived. Okay, don't read the stuff about how long you got left, all that stuff. Look for people that have survived, because they are out there, and there's thousands of them. Okay, it's very rare that someone comes back from stage 4 cancer. Right, it's very rare. But then when you think that the numbers of people that get in stage 4 cancer are increasing, and the number of people that are getting cancer is increasing. It's not quite as rare as it once maybe used to be. There are many people out there, thousands of people that have come back from the so-called point of no return. Okay. You'll find their stories if you look for them. Just type it in, stories of stage 4 cancer survivors, and you'll find them. Okay. Things like that are so good because they give you a feeling that, do you know, I've always gone by this myself, right? I have stage 4 prostate cancer. I know of a number of people that have stage 4 prostate cancer that have survived it for 10, 20 years. Okay? That gives me fight, that gives me hope, and that gives me spirit and belief that I can be that person. Why, if they can do it, why can't I do it? That's how you've got to look at this, okay? Whatever cancer you have, I know predominantly this group is tending to be about prostate cancer, but I'm really here for anyone. No matter what cancer you've got, look for people that have got that cancer, that have survived that cancer. And there's people that are walking miracles that are out there, okay? And listen to what they say and what they did. And what you'll notice is there's a collective thing that goes on that people with all these different types of cancer have done. And I always think that the way you beat something like this is by modelling yourself on what someone else has done or what a group of people have done. The more, the better. So once you start reading about these people, your spirit will be lifted. You will feel better. Okay, devote time to doing that. Try and look for someone. They're easy enough to find, but if you search right in the keep going through the pages of internet searches, they kind of come up quite low down, a lot of them. They are out there, and these are forgotten people. A lot of them are, well, I've survived cancer. They've put a little post somewhere on a blog. It's pages and pages down on a Google search, because they're forgotten about, because they're living happily somewhere in the world, or maybe they've died of some other cause. However, that's what you want. You want hope. When you've been diagnosed with cancer, more powerful than any medication that you can have is hope. Okay? And the amazing thing about the internet, there's lots of bad things, but there's this instant, I can, any time of the day, search for hope and find it. Use it for that. It's great. Number 8, I've put Facebook internet groups. Right, there are some really, really good internet groups. Be careful that you don't. I think you've got to take your time to learn about how the group works. Okay, some of them are very, very negative. When I first came out, I joined loads of internet groups. Okay, for prostate cancer, for healing cancer, for all these things, and I found them full of people that hated the world. There was no inspiration in there except for a few groups. You've got to be inspired. You've got to want to read stuff that people are talking about. Most people were attacking cancer charities. For instance, our Macmillan was being attacked all the time. Their group is one of the most miserable places I've ever been. Nothing inspirational about it, because people are generally attacking them, and unfortunately I've not had a great experience with them, and I don't attack anybody. I don't believe in that, but I wouldn't be devoting time to listening to these things, because they are depressing, and you don't want to be depressed. You've got to try and lift your spirits up. And If you find a group that does that, then brilliant. That's where you want to. You're surrounding yourself by positivity. Remember, if you find a group that when you leave that group you feel down, depressed more than you started, then that's not the group for you. Okay, and this is where the snake oil people often prey, in those groups. And then there's arguments as well, and there's all kinds of stuff. You want positivity. A really good source for searching for positivity is YouTube. Okay, I'm not just saying that because I've got this channel. I think every channel's unique. There are lots and lots of very interesting channels out there about alternative ways of treating, and about how you're dealing with cancer. But one of the ones I like is TED Talks. TED Talks are huge. You can find out anything about everything. Okay, but there's people that will stand up on a stage and give a talk. And there's a few of them that have recovered from cancer, or there's doctors talking about new things that are coming up. There's some great stuff on there, and to me that really, really helps to know that stuff's there. It's very positive, and it's uplifting to know that people are doing certain things to make things better, and hopefully this channel is doing the same thing. I really hope that's what it's for. And the very last thing I've put on the list, okay, this list is not just limited to 10 things. This list it could go on and on, okay, but my 10th thing is don't be scared to ask for help. Okay, I often felt when I got diagnosed that I didn't know really who to talk to. When I did ask for help, like I said earlier, I was kind of passed on from pillar to post, and there was no one there at the last point. The phone just rang and you give up. But ask for help if you can. Okay, this channel that I've set up is there to help. If you want to ask questions on here, there is probably now 300 people subscribing to this that read that watch the videos and write their comments underneath. By the way, keep them coming, they're great. Ask for help on here. If you we will there's a group of people now that are regularly commenting on here. We will point you in places that we know to send you. Okay, don't go through this alone. If you are on your own at home, just know there are groups like this out there that want to help. Okay, the thing is, we are in the same boat. We're sailing on the same stormy seas. We understand how it is. There are other people that haven't got cancer that try and tell us what it's like, but they don't really have the feeling that we have. We know what it's like to feel that we have cancer, and I'm not just saying physically, I'm saying mentally, how it mentally feels inside every pore of your being, what it's like to have cancer. And we're the experts on it, on our own selves. I'm not saying we're experts medically, I'm saying we're experts about feelings. So don't be afraid to ask on the group, ask in the comments, because that's what it's for. That's why I sit there and do these videos. Now it's a new year. I plan to do one video a week if I can, starting obviously from today. If you want to subscribe, you just hit the subscribe on the video. I'm going to get a little button put on them. Apparently you can do that. I'm not very good with this technical stuff, but I'm going to do that. I think you can subscribe anyway on YouTube to get the latest video. And the other thing I'm going to ask is, those of you that are already commenting or are seeing the videos, Okay, particularly about this list I've made today. You've got the experience, guys. Could you add anything else you think that might help someone that's just found out they've got cancer or recently found out they've got cancer? Let's make a little comment thread on that, because I think that could be brilliant from different people's points of view. I've covered things that I've done because I've made mistakes, and I'm trying to stop you from making the same mistakes. Okay, and that's really all I wanted to say today. I know it's a little bit longer than normal, but thanks a lot for watching. I truly hope they help. I truly hope that wherever you are, that you gain something out of these, and that, yeah, that it helps in some kind of small way, and you can pass it on, you can share them, you do what you like with these videos. Okay, so Happy New Year. I know cancer's not it's not happiness, but there are a lot of positives in cancer. That you will find your mindset may change to you appreciate things more. Those are the positives you've got to grab and hold on to. Okay, keep fighting, keep believing, stay strong. Okay, until the next time, I'll see you soon.